Dennett says, I think it's true for me. That's worked for me. When I haven't been about me, as Rick Warren says, it's not about you. It's worked really well. When I've tried to do something to make myself happy or for myself, generally I've mucked it up and it hasn't worked really well. So I don't know if that's the secret to happiness, but it's certainly been true for me, is that things have worked a lot better when it's not about me, it's something bigger than myself, and I go and dedicate myself to that. You know, because I spent a lot of years trying to make myself happy and do stuff that I liked and wanted to do. And that lasts for a short while, but it's like sugar on your tongue. It goes away pretty quickly. And there are sometimes, you know, hypoglycemic side effects that aren't so great. So that is a suggestion I would have. Here's Chinese wisdom on happiness I found. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a month, get married. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help others. Doesn't mean the marriage is unhappy. I'm just saying it doesn't make you happy at every second. If you've been married, you know this. Right? So, all this, what we talked about yesterday of helping people find their directions, find the energy that makes life meaningful, is helping them find their life directions, meaning, and purpose by helping them identify those signals, one or more, because it's probably a combination of several, and help people find activities to contribute to others and to the world. That's going to be a key, probably, to helping them find meaning and purpose and be a little more happy. All right? Now, we're on to the next one, which is obviously related to this meaning and purpose in the world, and that's what the positive psychologists identify as transcendence and spirituality. So remember what is involved in their definition, the positive psychologist's definition: spirituality and transcendence, gratitude, we're going to look at some of that research, forgiveness and mercy, we're going to look at some of that research and some clinical methods around that, humor, which we'll get to near the end. You've noticed I use a little humor in this presentation. It seems to help people transcend their issues. Erickson used to say, people come in grim enough as it is, don't make them more grim with your therapy. And you know, you could often, Erickson often used humor with his clients and patients, and I do as well, I think, and I'm sure a lot of you do. So here's the definition, official definition that comes out of positive psychology. I will give you another definition in a few minutes. For religiousness and spirituality, having coherent beliefs about the higher purpose and meaning of the universe, knowing where one fits within this larger scheme, and having beliefs about the meaning of life that shapes one's conduct and provide comfort. All right? And so, again, this is a book that I really recommend. If you want to learn a lot more about positive psychology, Chris Peterson wrote a textbook, Oxford Press published it, a primer in positive psychology. It's a really nice book that's just a good overview of most of what I'm telling you in terms of the research and some of the methods here. Here's my definition of spirituality: something beyond the individual personality and ego, and connection. Connection is something bigger. So let me give you an illustration of this that I got from one of my definitive spiritual resources, the Reader's Digest. I was on a plane, I was reading Reader's Digest, so I don't even have this copy. I'd like to have it. I'll probably have to go search for it sometime. But this guy was talking about his journey back to spirituality after being raised religiously, but he sort of went away from it as an adult life, occasionally attended church, but that was about it. He wasn't really a religious person. Then he said, how I came back to spirituality is my father died in midlife. He said, I was very close to my father, I loved my father, we got along really well, and I really missed him when he died. And I just thought, you know, I was going through the grief process, but I thought, you just have to go through the grief process and you come out the other side. He said, but I didn't come out the other side. As the years went on, the grief didn't get better. It didn't decrease, it got bigger. And it got so much bigger, at a certain point it was crushing me. It was bigger than me. The grief was bigger than me. And it was going to kill me. I just couldn't stand it. He said, and I was either going to check out because it was so painful, or at that moment of desperation, I had to go to something that was bigger than the grief. And the only thing I'd find bigger than the grief was God. So I became spiritual again. That's sort of an illustration of what I mean. When people come into therapy, they often feel alone, isolated, small, and resourceless. So for me, the movement towards spirituality is a movement to connection to something bigger. That's the simplest way I can say it. Connection to something bigger. Something bigger within you, something bigger beyond you. And I'm going to really talk about 3 realms of this. One is connecting with something big within you. Second one is connecting with others and something beyond you that involves other people. And the third one is connecting to something beyond people. So you can really call these 3 realms the personal, the interpersonal, and the transpersonal.